better than consciousness info. sa.neter TV 7. You keep it hot 24/7. You got that black 4102. sa.neter TV 2. Yeah.
You are now inside sa.neter Studios, the House of Consciousness production. Black news presentation.
All right, peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another sa.neter TV House of Consciousness production. This is my third show for the day. We got Napah, Shadah getting ready to go in, and we're gonna break down some real good science, man. We're gonna talk about some pseudos. We're gonna talk about some Gilligan's Island and all that good stuff. So, without any further ado, I pass you the mic, Napah. You got the floor.
All right, thank you, sa.neter. Thank you, sa.neter. Am I echoing?
No, you good.
Okay, hold tight, sa.neter. Take a coffee. We're almost there. This isn't going to be long, so I appreciate you doing this for me. This isn't going to be long. I want to first say peace to the chat. I see you out there, all of my loved ones. Especially I see you, Sakina, everybody out there, the mods. Peace to the chat. And yeah, first off, this is all lovingly. When I say Pseudo-Gilligan's Island, it isn't disrespectful. You know, just like they say we're pseudos, I say Pseudo-Gilligan's Island. And it's because, you know, they work very hard to push science, and that's great. But the problem is that it is a religion for them over there on Pseudo-Gilligan's Island. I say that affectionately. Shout out to the professor. And, you know, y'all can decide who's the skipper and Marianne and all that good stuff. But definitely the professor, Cedric. This, as I said, this isn't going to be a long thing, a long drawn out presentation. But I am going to show those of you who don't really go and do the research on what really is going on in science. I want to show you that the things that they call spooky and pseudo over on Pseudo-Gilligan's Island, pseudo-killers. Shout out to Ankh and Juju and all the whole crew. You know, it's, again, this is all about the information. This isn't personal, but we're going to show that the things that they say are pseudo and ridiculous and not scientific are actually being studied by real scientists, because on Pseudo-Gilligan's Island, they say none of them are scientists, but they are science advocates. I happen to also be a science advocate. And it's important to let people know in a community, in an environment that goes deeper. I say the darkest minds of the light, the deeper you do, the deeper research. You don't just stay on the surface like often a lot of people who say they advocate for science do, like over on the pseudo-killers. You don't stay on the surface, you go beyond, and that is real science, pushing the envelope. This isn't really going to be a presentation from me that shows my take on consciousness or my signature take on afterlife or reincarnation. This is more going to show you just real mainstream scientists who do the research on the afterlife, the research on alternate universes, alternate worlds, and they also talk about consciousness. Some really interesting names will be coming up. So as I said, it won't be long, but it will be strong. And without further ado, let's just start with some of the researchers and scientists and doctors who look into the first topic, which will be reincarnation. So if you would, sa.neter, I'm going to share my screen. Now, you know, over on Pseudo-Gilligan's Island, they make fun of people when we say reincarnation, when we talk about anything that has to do with astral projection, anything that really is beyond the scope of what scientific theory has shown. We, the lightest minds of the dark. Okay, that's great. Nice to see you here, Juju. How'd you get over here? How'd you get over here from Pseudo-Gilligan's Island? Did you find a ship or did you make a raft and paddle over here? I'm glad to see you over here, though. So The lightest minds of the dark. I'm glad you're tuned in because I want you to take a look at some of these scientists. And if you decide to address this information, when you do, I want you to make sure that you do your research on their backgrounds, because they are all scientists who do they use empirical data, they do research on the unknown. So let's start here. Here's my first slide. We're going to go to the University of Virginia. Yes, I've mentioned this a few times in a lot of different forums, but the University of Virginia is doing some really unique research. They're actually researching different types of what they call perceptual studies. Now, in those studies, they as I said, they study the afterlife, which is, and also reincarnation. They study telepathy. I know you like this one, Juju, because I saw you saying you were doing mental telepathy. That was so funny. I was laughing. You guys crack me up. So I hope you find what I'm doing over here is just as funny, as entertaining, I should say, and enlightening as I find what you guys do over there on Pseudoigans Island. So anyway, I digress. So they study the afterlife. They study mental telepathy. They study all types of things that if you were over on Pseudokillers, they would tell you that, oh, that's not mainstream science. I won't do my voice impersonations of my dear beloved professor.
Please do it, please.
Cedric.
Please
so
do it.
mainstream conventional science does actually research the phenomena regarding consciousness and reality.
Napah, can you hear me?
No, I can hear you now. It's low.
I said, please do the voice, please.
No.
Please,
not yet. I can't do it yet because I don't want them to get too offended because
they the tough too. They tough. They don't get.
I'll do it later.
Yeah, come on. Nobody.
If he hits the panel, I'll do his voice.
Okay. Nobody do it better than you, for real.
I know. It's all love. Okay, so
yeah.
So thank you, sa.neter. So as you see, this group of people, these are just a few of the actual scientists who are researching these so-called pseudo topics over at the University of Virginia. Let's go ahead and meet the head or the former head of the team over at the University of Virginia doing this research. Dr. Bruce Greyson. Now remember, I'm just showing you the basics of this. They can't get around this, that these are real scientists, the scientists that they say are real over on Pseudoigans Island. Dr. Bruce Greyson is the Chester Carlson Professor Emeritus of Psychiatry and Neurobehavioral Science at the University of Virginia. He was previously on the medical faculty at the University of Michigan and the University of Connecticut, where he was clinical chief of psychiatry. Okay, pseudo killers, I don't know, Pseudoigans Island looking real far away right now, because this is actually what you call a legitimate scientist and a doctor. Dr. Greyson has consulted with National Institutes of Health and addressed symposia on consciousness at the United Nations and at the Dalai Lama's compound in Dharamsala, India. He has earned awards for his medical research and was elected a Distinguished Life Fellow of the American Psychiatric Association. That's the highest honor bestowed by that organization. Okay, Pseudoigans Island, I don't know. You like to say only pseudos look at this kind of stuff. Only pseudos believe that consciousness exists outside the brain. Only pseudos think that there's life after death. But this is pretty much a very, very world-renowned, I should say, psychiatrist and researcher. And Dr. Greyson is what you would call a pseudo. Dr. Greyson's interest in near-death experiences, Professor Cedric, began just a few months after graduating from medical school, when he treated an unconscious patient in the emergency room who stunned him the next morning with an account of leaving her body. You see, everyone isn't afraid of God and the afterlife. Everyone isn't church hurt, no offense. So everyone isn't rejecting everything that's phenomenal or metaphysical just because they had a bad experience with religion. I'm referring to Pseudoigans Island, because over there right now, you are a religion. You're blocking out everything else that is scientific that you say is spooky, while real scientists like Dr. Bruce Greyson is embracing it. That evening, after he noticed that his patient the next morning had an account of leaving her body, remember that you were saying that it's something to do, I think, with the prefrontal cortex. I think that was you, Cedric, but the research is showing that you're wrong about that. You're only looking at a portion of what could be. I liken Pseudoigans Island, the pseudo killers, to someone who's walking around with no bottoms on, no pants, no underwear, just the top part of their clothing, talking about, you're naked to everyone else. So actually, you guys are over there with no pants on, no bottoms on, and you're walking around trying to tell those who you call pseudo that we are naked. You're trying to tell us that we're not scientific, but we see real scientists, according to you, doing research on what we already embrace and study ourselves and have been researching for years. Let me get back to the article. That event challenged, this is a real scientist. You see, when he saw something that he didn't understand, he embraced it and started to research it. That's the actual epitome of science. If you don't understand something, you don't get scared of it and say, oh, it's pseudo, oh, it's pseudo. You embrace it and you research it. That event challenged his beliefs about the mind and the brain and ultimately led him on a journey to study near-death experiences scientifically. Scientifically, I got to say it louder because I don't know if they can hear me over there past the lagoon. Scientifically, leading to more than 100 publications in medical journals. He co-founded the International Association of Near-Death Studies, an organization to support and promote research into these experiences. And for 27 years, he edited the Journal of Near-Death Studies, the only scholarly, this is a journal of near-death studies. Over on Pseudoigans Island, they admit that they're not scientists, but scientists have a journal where they study near-death experiences. It's the only scholarly journal dedicated to near-death research. Through his research, he has discovered common and universal themes in near-death experiences that go beyond neurophysiological or cultural interpretations, as well as patterns of consistent after effect on individuals' attitudes, beliefs, values, and personalities. Now, I get it. I know, when you're in cognitive dissonance, whether you believe in Jesus or whether you believe in good old science, meaning, what's on the surface. I get it that when you hear this right now, you start to block out so many things saying, well, that's this and that's that. You want to reject it right away. What you're probably saying is they're doing the research, but it's pseudo and it's pseudo research. No, it's scientific research. That's what science does. Just as in quantum physics, everything isn't figured out, but they continue the studies. And we'll get into that later on in these slides. Everything isn't figured out when we go and study life outside in the solar system, in the cosmos. Everything hasn't been figured out, but it's a real scientific study. There's real research going on, empirical research, empirical data is being used, and real scientists are studying these things that we're being told that are pseudo. They're not pseudo, they're actually science. But I like being called a pseudo by them. It's a badge of honor. So Dr. Greyson is the author of After, a Doctor Explores What Near-Death Experiences Reveal About Life and Beyond, The book challenges our everyday ideas about our minds and our brains and offers key insights on how we can begin to live a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Because at the end of the day, all of this gets back to what is consciousness. So let's move on and see if we can find some more of these scientists. Oh, here's a little bit more about Dr. Greyson. I'm going to get this. I don't want to leave any meat on the bone because I know they're going to want to cover this, especially the professor. He's going to try to find so much information and try to refute this. But what I want you to focus on, everybody, is that these are scientists. They say, oh, that's not science. Oh, that's not science. These are real scientists. This is a real division at a university. This is real research. 50 years of research, to be specific. Bruce Greyson, MD, he's a medical doctor, began his research into NDEs, near-death experiences, here at the University of Virginia in the mid-70s, 1970s. Throughout his career, Dr. Greyson has studied over 1,000 cases and documented the profound effects on individuals' attitudes, beliefs, values, and personalities. His research has also shown why these experiences cannot be dismissed as dream states or hallucinations. Did you hear that over there in Pseudoigans Island? I want to make sure you're all good. I don't know if I need the coconut megaphone or put some palm leaves together. And can you hear me over on Pseudoigans Island? This cannot be dismissed as dream states or hallucinations. Okay. He continues to collaborate with esteemed scientific colleagues. Let me say that again. He continues to collaborate with esteemed scientific colleagues from all around the world, even after his retirement in 2015. At the Department of Perceptual Studies, the DOPS, he works with Dr. Marietta Dr. Marietta Pelavanova, providing mentorship and collaboration on a variety of ongoing NDE research projects. Dr. Greyson's extensive research on NDEs challenges us to think more deeper, not lighter, not the lightest, most shallow minds of the light, like on Pseudoigans Island, like our sister Juju said, we're the lightest. They like to stay on the surface. No, we're full. We got the full calories over here. We are the darkest, deepest minds of the light. And these scientists, these esteemed minds, like to think more deeper, or to think deeper about the relationship between the mind and brain, as well as consider the possibility of consciousness surviving death. Consciousness surviving death. Here we go. We're getting to it. I'm really interested in having that discussion with you, Professor, about consciousness, because science is showing that consciousness goes beyond the brain. You're stuck in the 1960s. There's so much research showing that consciousness has gone beyond the brain only. NDE Anita Moorjani and NDE Dr. Eben Alexander. Now, these are two different individuals who have actually had near-death experiences. Basically, they passed away and they came back. I'm going to actually focus on Dr. Eben Alexander. And why am I focusing on him? Well, over on Pseudoigans Island, they love to talk about scientists. And guess what? Dr. Eben Alexander, MD, is a neurosurgeon and a near-death experience expert. Let's look at some of his, this little blurb on him. Eben Alexander, MD, completed his medical degree at Duke University and went on to perform over 4,000 neurosurgical operations. 4,000. I think he could get a pass and a green check, I should say, over on Pseudoigans Island. If he showed up, if he seemed to float into coming out the lagoon, covered in seaweed, they would try to take him and set him up with the professor and see if they could, work together on some things, right? So 4,000 neurosurgical operations. He was an academic neurosurgeon for over 25 years, including 15 years at the Brigham and Women's Hospital, Children's Hospital, and Harvard Medical School in Boston. He has a passionate interest in physics and cosmology, which you can tell from the discussion. So I took this from a podcast. I should have put the where I got the podcast from, but I think I did actually. But if not, you can always Google him and see who he is. So I just wanted to put this up here and show you he's not a pseudo like me. He's a real scientist, according to Pseudoigans Island. Okay, so this is science. Science that is conducted by scientists who are doctors of medicine, doctors of neuroscience, doctors of psychology, and much more. Don't listen to anyone who's stranded on an island of limited perspective. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Pseudoigans Island. See, they can't see beyond their church trauma, resentment, and they are therefore left behind on an island of denial as science progresses. Okay, so we've got Dr. Stevenson's right here. He's the founder of the department at University of Virginia. He's the founder of this department of Perceptual Studies. Then we've got Dr. Greyson, which we talked about some of his credentials. And of course, we've got one of my favorites, who I've got his book, a couple of his books, Dr. Jim Tucker. He's the director right now of the University of Virginia's Division of Perceptual Studies. He started in 2014, took over from Dr. Greyson, and he's there presently as the director. He does fascinating work. Let's move forward. I didn't even list him in this because I wanted this to go fast, but I can always get back and talk to you more about Dr. Tucker's studies with the children. He goes into the connection with the reincarnation with the young children. He connects it with consciousness, obviously being outside of our bodies, outside of our brains. Now, I'm not saying consciousness isn't a part of our neurology. Of course it is, but it's not only limited to. And science is proving this. Let's explore, push the envelope, ask questions about the unsolved, the inexplicable. Let's examine, let's experiment, and let's uncover. Why would we listen to a group of scientific castaways who admit that none of them are scientists? The professor ain't professoring. So let's take a look at the beginnings of the scientific research done at the University of Virginia, which examines and experiments with topics of the paranormal. That would be called pseudo on Pseudoigans Island. The parapsychological, that would be called pseudo over there. And the intriguing occurrences and information that those on Pseudoigans Island, because they cannot understand it or are afraid of it, love to call it pseudo. So I'm going to click this link, actually, if I can. And I'm almost, we're like 3/4 through this. Let me just get this over here. I'm going to stop sharing this for a minute, if I can. sa.neter, I don't know if you're still there. Okay.
You can't see me, Napah?
Oh, yeah.
I'm right here.
You should trademark that. That would be great. You can have it. I gift that to you, my friends. You definitely deserve to trademark Pseudoigans Island. Don't. You lost. Good.
No, when you called my name, I looked up. I'm like, oh my God, man.
You lost. Okay. So you should be listening to this information and finding out some of this information. Okay. So I want to show y'all something. Let me get this here. I have so many tabs open as usual. Let me get this tab right here. I want to read this to you. And I'm going to try, if it's long, it's a great PDF. It's a great paper. Oh yeah, I know why I want to show it to you. I just remembered. Because I want you to see what was going on in the mind of the founder, who was also, he's a mainstream scientist. He is you'll be able to see, I'm talking about Dr. Stevenson, the founder. He's since transitioned, but the founder of the University of Virginia Perceptual Studies. I want you to look at this, what he wrote, if you could. Can you see it okay, sa.neter?
Yeah.
sa.neter, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, let me read this to y'all. Establishment of the Division of Parapsychology at the University of Virginia. A division of parapsychology has been established within the Department of Psychiatry at the University of Virginia School of Medicine. The division is partly supported by a parapsychology research endowment fund initially created by an anonymous donor. Excuse me. The endowment fund supports a research professorship in psychiatry with the provision that the incumbent will devote at least 50% of his time to research in parapsychology, including research into the question of the survival of human personality after death. It is further provided that the University of Virginia will devote the endowment funds to such investigations for at least 20 years after the death or departure otherwise from the university of the first research professor supported by the endowment. So this is all the groundwork, the background on how this particular department started at the University of Virginia. Dr. Ian Stevenson has been appointed the first incumbent of this new chair at the University of Virginia. So far as is known, within this is the first such division of parapsychology fully integrated within a department in an American university. It's getting all the legit check marks. Okay, so let's keep reading. The Division of Parapsychology of the University of Virginia has developed a broad program of investigations in nearly all aspects of parapsychology. An experimental program chiefly, but not exclusively, emphasizes the study of specially gifted or high-scoring subjects. Information about subjects who might be suitable for this program will be gratefully received by the staff. Investigations of paranormal processes during sleep, astral projection, and in changes of consciousness, trance states, for example. They will be included in the program of the Division of Parapsychology. All of this is like a pseudo killer's nightmare to walk into a mainstream well-known university and go in here and see all this going on, but it's actually real science. It's real science going on. They are studying the paranormal. They are studying parapsychology. The staff will welcome information about sensitives, mediums, or other persons who might be suitable and willing to participate in such studies. The division is also developing a collection of spontaneous cases with special emphasis on the analysis of authenticated cases. Informants are invited to communicate information about spontaneous cases to the Division of Parapsychology. The staff wishes to hear only from informants who are willing to enter into details about the experiences reported either in correspondence or in interviews when feasible, and who are willing to permit publication of their experiences. Why are they saying that? Because they're actually doing science. They're doing science in this particular field. Okay, let's keep reading. I'm laughing because I can tell. I just know they're going crazy. They're pulling their hair out over there on Pseudoigans Island. Now, y'all just chill out. Don't get upset. Just keep listening, keep your mind open, and let's keep listening to what the scientists are doing. All right. I do want to keep on reading this. That's all. I'm almost done because I want you to know the background of Dr. Stevenson's endeavor and the founding of this division at the university. Okay, contributions to the Research Endowment Fund will be welcomed, and in this connection, detailed information about the endowment will be furnished prospective donors. Contributions to the University of Virginia are tax deductible. Okay, so this is all on the legitimate up and up. The present research staff on the Division of Parapsychology consists of Dr. Stevenson, Dr. Pratt, Dr. Rex Stanford. In addition, 3 other faculty members of the Department of Psychiatry are members of the Parapsychological Association with an active interest in the field. For further information about the program of the Division of Parapsychology, or to communicate information about subjects or spontaneous cases, please write the Secretary, Division of Parapsychology, Department of Psychiatry, School of Medicine, okay, University of Virginia. Now, this is actually, so thank you for letting me read that. I know it's a little tedious, but just, got to show the sources, got to show his credentials, right? I know they love that at over there in Pseudo Killers. So getting back to the PowerPoint, because we're going to move on from, I think I'm done with the whole, all right, let me see this. Okay, so I like this picture. There's Gilligan, there's Ginger, and they're over there, they're researching, they're doing their thing over there too, scientific thing. So let's keep going. I now want to move on to Max Planck. Now, those of you who even dabble a little bit in science, and if you are listening in these different forums, if you go over to Pseudoigans Island, Pseudo Killers, if you come over to listen to pseudos like me, okay, because I was nominated for the Quantum Quackery Award. I want to say thank you so much to the Pseudo Killers. It's all love. They did nominate me for the Pseudo Killers Award. I didn't, unfortunately, win. I was, I forget who won. I think it was, 19 keys, but I digress. Basically, if you've been in any of these forums, you're going to hear people bring up quantum physics, quantum theory, quantum mechanics, and you're also going to hear people bring up Max Planck, probably. Max Planck, who is Max Planck? Well, Max Planck was a theoretical physicist, and he's also the father of quantum physics. Big deal, right? Let's listen to this quote from Max Planck. Uh-oh. Y'all better listen up. I want you to especially listen, Professor. Max Planck is quoted as saying, this is coming from the father of quantum physics. Quote, I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. Okay. I got to pause on that. The father of quantum physics didn't say, consciousness is only in the brain, and we're going to do the research all that we can, and we're going to find out. He actually is saying, I regard matter as a derivative from consciousness. He's speaking pretty pseudo here. This is looking very metaphysical, this statement. Okay? He's sounding very metaphysical when he's talking about these subatomic particles. And he's talking about matter comes out of consciousness. It derives from consciousness. Oh, wow. That's a major pseudo statement. But it's coming from the father of quantum physics. He goes on to say, we cannot get behind consciousness, but the professor over on Pseudoigans Island said, we have it all figured out. Get away from this spookiness. Oh, Napah. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it because if he hits the panel, I'll do it. But I was about to do his voice. He's like, Napah. Get away from all this spookiness.
Napah.
Yeah.
Got to do it, man. Come on, man.
Oh, I can't do it now. I don't want to do it right now because I want to wait till he comes. I want to.
He's not going to come. Just do it so it could be on the goddamn video.
I'm not in the mood to really do it, but I can do it. It's all lovely because I love his. He's got a great character. So
if you do it, he's going to come. He's going to come in when you do it.
Yes. So Napah's making it very spooky. It's not spooky at all. It comes from the brain. But when you take someone like a pseudo like Napah, she's gonna say it comes from consciousness. Consciousness does not come from anywhere else besides the brain. But when we have people who are trying to take God and put it together with science, it doesn't. So that's all. I'm done. I'm done doing that. I'm feeling a little tired today. Shout out to Professor. You know I love you, Cedric. Okay, so let's get back to what Max Planck says, though. We cannot get behind consciousness. He said we can't get behind consciousness, but Cedric says we've got it all figured out. Everything that we talk about, everything that we regard as existing postulates consciousness. That he's not, and don't come, please don't come in and say, oh, he's talking about what you think. And he's saying consciousness manifests, that matter manifests out of consciousness. He's saying that. He said we cannot get behind consciousness. Let me go back. He said, I regard matter as a derivative from consciousness. We cannot get behind consciousness. This is Max Planck. This isn't Napah Shadah. This isn't the 19 keys, Lex Vortex. This isn't our beautiful Doc 2 suite. You call us all pseudos. This is Max Planck, the founder, the father of quantum physics. He says, I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. We cannot get behind consciousness. Everything that we talk about, everything that we regard as existing postulates consciousness. Another quote attributed to Planck states, quote, here he is again, everyone. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force. Now, I know you're going to come in and say strong force, or possibly one of the four fundamental, or one of the four forces, the element forces like gravitation. I'm talking to Pseudoigans Island. I'm just going to stop you at the door and I'll get back to the quote. He's not necessarily just saying, oh, strong force, weak force, gravitational force, electromagnetic force. He's talking about I just ironically said strong force first. He's talking about the strong force, but he's not even sure. Physicists are not even sure what is going on with the strong force. They're not. They're trying to figure it out. But isn't that the same as what they're doing at the University of Virginia? They're trying to figure it out. They're researching NDEs, near-death experiences. They're researching mental telepathy. They're researching out-of-body experiences. They're researching reincarnation. What's the difference between what Max Planck and all the other physicists that came before and after him, and all the other physicists today and the quantum physicists? I mean, what's the difference between what we're doing here with quantum physics, what they're doing in Geneva with Hadron Collider? What's the difference between all of these different studies? What's the difference between what they're doing and what they're doing over there looking into near-death experiences and talking about phenomenal things that happen to people and kids coming back and saying they had a past life? There is no difference. So let me get back to the quote. Max Planck, the father of quantum physics, the father of quantum theory, all matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force, which brings the particle of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. I know you're going to say gluons and quarks. I know you are, and I love you for that. Pseudoigans Island, I love you guys. I know you're going to stay right on the surface, right at the light surface. But people who are the darkest minds, who are the deepest thinkers, people like Max Planck, we're going to go deeper and deeper. We want to know more than what's on the surface. We're not just going to go, oh, quarks and gluons, duh, strong force. Okay, who wants pizza? No, we're going to keep looking and we're going to keep asking until we find out. According to Michio Kaku, we're going to find out one day. We're going to bring it all together. We're going to bring together physics. We're going to bring together quantum physics. And we're going to say, now we know everything. Right? We're going to be able to do that. And I hope, like Cedric said before, I hope that I will be in this body, in this flesh, when we do it, because I want to be there and witness it as well. And I want to be like to Pseudoigans Island. I want to be like, ya te dije. That's what we say. We say, I told you so, or in your face, whatever way. So I know I'm going off. So let me get through to finish this, and then I think I have 3 or 4 more slides. Okay. So we have Max Planck saying, all matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force, we can say strong force, which brings the particle of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. We're talking about the very, 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 very quantum or quanta, the microcosm, to look at the macrocosm, because it's just a reflection. What's going on in an atom, that's an actual universe. We look at an atom, which is very, very obviously so very, very, very minute. We look at an atom as minute, but there is possibly another universe, another world where they're looking at our universe as the same way we look at atoms. And that's not something I just got off the top of my head. That's according to quantum theorist Michio Kaku. Yes, Nobel Prize winner Michio Kaku, the creator and the person who figured out and created the string theory and multiple universes that are being created right now as we speak. Max Planck goes on to say, we must assume behind this force, here it goes, Pseudoigans Island. We must assume that behind this force, the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. Yes, mind. This is being said to look, this is looking so pseudo. Dare I say it's looking like he's talking about a type of entity or a god. But for sure, Max Planck is speaking very clearly that consciousness is not just in our brains. Consciousness is existing all around us. And there are physicists who even compare when I was on a panel with Cedric, and he made the mistake. It's okay. When I brought up the particle, the subatomic particle, the Higgs boson particle, he came in and he said, the Higgs boson is not a particle. I didn't really go into it with him too much because, I had already gone in and bombs were dropped and I didn't want to, go too hard, pause on the professor. But the Higgs boson, I'm getting to a point. The Higgs boson is an actual particle. You should know that. You should know that is I think it's a scalar boson. The Higgs boson is a particle in the Higgs field. But you said the Higgs boson is not a particle. You said it is a field. You were incorrect, but I let you live because I like you. So let's see here. Max Planck says, behind this force, the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind, this mind is the matrix of all matter. Now we're going to go and look at a little bit. We're going to go and do a little science, just a little bit science. For people who aren't really interested or don't bother to look it up, when we're talking about an atom, when we speak about atoms, everything is made up of atoms, right? We know that from grade school, I think, science. Inside of atoms, we have subatomic particles like protons, neutrons, okay? And then we have inside of protons and neutrons, we have quarks. And the quarks exist inside of a proton or a neutron. And they're together, right? So there is a force that is called the strong force, and it actually is working within the atom, okay? Within the atom with the quarks, and it works, the gluons in the atom assist, if you will, assist the particular strong force. I want you to remember that strong force. It assists it to work, to flow, so to speak, in between gluons. The gluons are within the proton, and the protons inside the protons, there are quarks. So if you imagine these, like the quarks are like balls. If you, I know that's not in here. Those are gluons, and the gluons are like little squiggly connections, so to speak, in between the quarks. They keep it all together. Why am I telling you all this? Because when we looked at the quote from Max Planck, he said, all matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force, which brings the particles of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. So inside of the atom, we have protons and neutrons, and inside of those protons and neutrons, we have quarks, and the quarks are held together by the strong force, and the strong force works, the quarks work with gluons with the strong force. This is really, 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 really a big deal, because this is actually partially of what's being studied at the CERN, different CERN research centers, like with the Hadron Collider. And a hadron, when you say Hadron Collider, it's talking about protons. They're just running protons faster than, like at the speed of light within this tunnel, so to speak, this contraption, and then they smash the protons together, and then they research what's going on, and they find all this great stuff out. That's how they discovered the particle, the Higgs boson particle, which is also called the God particle. Why did I start talking about that? Oh yes, I've heard physicists say that it's fascinating that when our universe was formed, you know, the Big Bang, which I get it, there's no sound, but the Big Bang, when that happened, there was this type of, they don't even know what it is still, they're still researching, this substance or this presence. I'm going to say like a vibration, because even when we talk about particles and waves, it's just really like a vibration, but we're calling it particles and waves. So I digress. But this goo or something, this substance just filled the entire universe. And that is what we all connect through. Sounds like consciousness a little bit, right? But we connect through that. And that is what creates us, how we manifest into matter. So at CERN, they actually have created matter out of light, which is really awesome. It's a great accomplishment. So let me keep going. I promise you I'm almost done. I just want to get this out. That's all I want to do is get it out. And then people can look at this and say, stop over there on Pseudoigans Island. Stop acting like you're so know this and we're so silly and pseudo this, pseudo that, when science is studying all these things that you call pseudo. And we have well-renowned scientists, well-known, world-renowned scientists saying the things that we say, but you call it pseudos. Although physicists know what strong force is associated with, such as color, gluons, and quarks, they still do not know exactly what strong force is. So here, this is just something I grabbed off of the images on the internet about quarks and strong force and gluons. It says, we hypothesize that in addition to the attribute of electrical charge, now electric charge would be associated with electromagnetism. That's a different force, okay? Electric charge is attributed to electromagnetism. Quarks have another attribute known as color charge. So when we're talking about the strong force, not the electromagnetic force, when we're talking about strong force, we associate strong force with color, where electromagnetism would associate electromagnetism with electric charge. So the attribute's name, color, is just by convention. It's easy to visualize this attribute and how colors combine. Now, they're not actually like the colors that you would see with the eye. They are more of just labels and titles put on the particular reaction, or, you know, the attribute. they call it color. But anyway, I don't want to get too much into that. Let's move on. Here's another. So we're going to break down more of the quote. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. That's Max Planck. He doesn't sound like somebody who says that consciousness is only in the brain. Does consciousness create the universe? Well, it's looking more and more from the studies that we've done with the Higgs field and the Higgs field boson particle and all the different research that we're doing. It's looking more and more that the universe is a type of consciousness that we're connected to. So I'm not saying that there's not neurological consciousness. Obviously there is, but we also have neurons in our heart, and these neurons work together with our brain, and these neurons actually work very much similarly. So there's so much going on outside of, consciousness in the brain. We're finding this out more and more through all of these pseudo studies. Michio Kaku, he's one of my favorites, obviously. I always bring him up. Michio Kaku is an American physicist. He's a Nobel Prize winner for string theory, I believe it is. But anyway, Michio Kaku is an American physicist, a science communicator, a futurologist. That sounds so pseudo. I love that. Futurologist. A futurologist and a writer of popular science. He is a professor of theoretical physics at the City College of New York. And it goes on and on. I just grabbed this, obviously, quickly off the internet. I think I'm done here almost. Oh, let's see here. This is a little bit on Michio Kaku, but I'll leave that alone because I want to get through this. This just talks about what he thinks about life after death. He says, yes, there is life after death. He says, yes, there are alternate universes. He says that you're existing here and you're existing somewhere else as we speak. Now, let's see this. So we've looked at near-death experiences, reincarnation, out-of-body experiences, astral projection. We've looked at consciousness outside of the body, outside of the brain even. Now we're going to take a quick look at something else that would be considered pseudo. Astrobiology. Yes, it is a legitimate field of scientific study despite Fermi's paradox. If you're not familiar with Fermi's paradox, I'll read a little bit of what it is. History of astrobiology. I don't have to click on that, but astrobiology was founded around the 50s, but it was really picked up as a real science, I think around the 90s. Now, astrobiology, obviously, just what the name says, astrobiology, it studies everything in the universe, not just on Earth. Yes, there are terrestrial studies, but it studies outside life outside of the Earth. Now, you might say there is no life outside the Earth. We haven't figured that out. Exactly. But there's a scientific study. What I'm pointing out is Pseudoigans Island likes to say, if it hasn't been discovered, if it's not in the book in black and white, then it's pseudo. No, science doesn't work like that. Science is always changing. Science is always exploring. Science is always going where no man dares to go, right? Or woman. Actually, science is always doing all of these things. We're always approaching and asking and studying. We're always doing that. And no, please don't come in and say, well, this is science, how they do it, but you pseudos always talking to metaphysical. It's the same. They are, as you say, I respect them as professional scientists. I respect them as those who have gone and they've done the legwork and they've written the papers and they work hard, but our minds are the same. In the sense of that we understand that there is life outside of this particular earth. We understand that there are worlds beyond this realm that we're in. We understand that there is life after death. These are big things to embrace. I mean, when I say big, I mean deep. These are not light. Shout out to Juju. These aren't light things to embrace. So, in the 60s, they used to say, hey, that's real heavy, dude. The hippies, we're real heavy over here. Just like the Michio Kakus, the Max Plancks, the Dr. Greyson, the Dr. Tuckers. we are doing real science when we think outside of the box. Schrodinger's cat, superposition. Just thought I might throw that in. I know it's corny, but let's look at what Fermi's paradox is. If we listen to Pseudoigans Island, then we wouldn't even have astrobiology. We wouldn't even, as a group of people, as a whole, okay, a collective mind, scientists, astrophysicists, everybody, we wouldn't look beyond, we wouldn't research the universe if we tried to move like they do on Pseudoigans Island. Why do I say that? Because they say if it's not in a book, if it's not here written and it's been there's studies done in it, then it's not science. It's just a joke. We would be stranded on Pseudoigans Island with those castaways. No, Fermi's paradox says if there are billions of planets capable of supporting life, then why do we only see just ourselves and we never find it? I'm paraphrasing. It says the law of large numbers indicates that extraterrestrial life should not be rare, right? So why haven't any visited Earth? But they have, actually. However, that's what the scientist, he said, Fermi had postulated, he was having a conversation with his colleagues, and he said, if there's so much, and there are so many different discoveries out there in space, that we found so many different habitable or possibly habitable places, I should say, planets, that we're still trying to figure it out through astrobiology. Is there life there? Can life be can life proliferate? Can people live and can life be sustained on these planets? Is life sustained? These are questions that there isn't anything proven, pseudo-killers. Nothing has been proven solid that there is life, but we are still, as a group of human beings, of minds, we're still researching it. So when we research it, when we seek it out, when we test it, when we do all these things and explore it, we're doing science. And that's the end of my presentation. I appreciate you all tuning in. I hope I was changing the slides. Are you still there? Okay. 58 minutes, just under an hour. All right, so that is that. If you are interested in asking any questions, if you want to come in, you can. Like I said, it's not going to be long. I mean, and we didn't see your slides. Oh, they didn't even see the slides. They didn't even see the slides. You're muted.
I don't know why they was up.
No, Cube said they didn't see it. Did you guys see the? Oh, you did? Damn.
Yeah.
Cube, I don't know what happened. Oh, he said, just kidding. You are so annoying.
Hey, Cube. What do you think about them Pacers, boy? God damn, Cube. What do you think about that, man? They up 2 games to none.
I was so mad.
Cleveland, bro. Woo!
Okay, if you're going to come in, you have to turn on your camera. I would be more than happy for you to come in.
You got to turn on your camera.
Okay, thank you.
All right, peace, brother. What's up, man? You got a question?
Oh yeah, a question and kind of a comment, because this was a good subject that y'all talking about the afterlife and the outer world and things like that, and how that there is an afterlife, because there's a lot of different doctrines out there, and I like to get into a lot of those doctrines about the afterlife, because people, they you got some that deal with the reincarnation. First of all, I'm all Israel, but we got people that deal with the reincarnation and the life in other places, and all we know is the people that show us what they show us on TV. But the thing is, they can't get past the dorm. So what do they really know? You see what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna tell me about 50 billion planets out there when you can't even get over the dorm? Because there's a dome over this earth. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, a dome?
Yeah. But the Bible does speak.
Are you a flat earther?
Huh?
Are you a flat earther?
Nah. I believe in the earth being round. It's just I don't really get into it, because a lot of brothers around here, they get into their feelings deeply over something that unnecessary. But what the Bible does talk about is heavens. Like when in the beginning, when you go to Genesis where it says Bereshit bara Elohim, where it says Bereshit bara Elohim Hashemayim. That means the Most High Yah created the heavens with the S, the heavens in the universe. And so that's how, so now we got a better understanding of why Paul said, well, I was caught up in the third heaven. When you read the book of Enoch, a book that was originally in the Bible, it speaks about 10 heavens. You see, and we only in one part. You see what I'm saying? So this, and another thing to put the icing on the cake is I just want everybody out there to know hell is real. Hell is real. Hell is real. Okay. But that was a good subject y'all was bringing up. I had to share my little thoughts on it.
What was the question you asked him? And he said no.
Who?
The brother right here. What was the question you asked him?
Oh, I asked. He went into explaining about this. I appreciate your input. He said, yeah, I remember you from Facebook.
What's the question, Napah?
He said that he's not a flat earther, I think. Are you?
No, I'm not. I believe it's round.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's not.
The brothers, right? You said, nah, the brothers is out there. They what you say?
I said, no, I'm more of a rounder. The earth is round. I lean more to that.
When she asked you the question, you said, nah, because the brothers are out there, they are something like that. You was like,
oh, I was saying I don't get deep into it like that because brothers out there they get in their feelings too much,
All right.
But I don't mind talking about it. I don't mind giving my input of why I believe it is what it is. Because to be a flat earth, you got, like, I'm over here and it's nighttime. If I'm over here at nighttime in Cali, it's daytime. Now, how you gonna get that on a flat disc? You see what I'm saying?
Do you take the Bible literal?
Well, the Bible is literal and spiritual. But just like your flesh, you in the fleshly body right now. That's a literal thing. But the reason your fleshly body operates is because of something we don't see, which is the oxygen. So the Bible, it comes in two forms, literal and spiritual.
What's the literal part you take?
The literal part is the physicality of him having a people, which is Israel, and how he physically manifested himself, to show and prove our existence, us doing the history that we have. We still have history that's never been conquered, and things of that matter. How he created us and how we live and breathe.
From what I look at, the history, if you really look at it and you're reading about the history of the Israelites, to me, when you really look at it and you're going to be real about it, they was the most wicked people in the Bible. They was wicked. They was wicked. They were savages in the Bible, brother.
Right. And see, and when we look at the overlay about that, the Bible literally admits it. Right. So the Bible never comes in the energetic form of a biasness. Even though he referred to us as the apple of his eye, it's a righteous act, because if you have a child and then you're gonna love your child, but when your child slips off, you're gonna get on your child's behind about that. You see what I'm saying?
So even if you was the apple of his eye, he still treated y'all like y'all was nothing. The one who y'all love so much, he treated y'all like y'all were nothing. He gave you over to your slave master. He gave you over to the one that you hate now, to your slave master, brother.
Right. The thing is about that aspect is the Bible talks about how we had disobeyed our end of the bargain because we made a
You
covenant with him.
brought up our son, you're going to discipline your son. Well, if my son disobey me, I'm not going to turn him over to his enemy and make the enemy do something crazy to him. Hell no. The Most High God turned you over to your enemy to get your nuts castrated, to cut you open, to take out babies out of the unborn woman's stomach. That's your Most High did that to you. I'm not doing that to my children because they disobeyed me, though, brother. So sometimes, man, it's like we don't really have logical thinking, man. It's like something got to be really wrong with us where we are afraid to say, you know what? I'm a man. I can do this. I can live my life without reading a book. I don't need a book to teach me how to be righteous. I know what is right and I know what is wrong. And sometimes we just got to do that. We just afraid to stand on our own 2 feet, brother.
Right. So if I was to ask you and the Posh, what is y'all's what is the act of being righteous? You're gonna name the basics that we all do. Love your brother, love your sister, love your family, these natural instincts. Well, wow, isn't it a coincidence that everything you're going to say without you even saying it, I can guarantee you it's going to be found right in them scriptures.
Nope.
I'm not going to find that in the Egypt Book of the Dead, but I will find it in the Bible.
Here you go. I would just simply say, treat people the way you would want to be treated. Simple as that, brother.
Right. And guess what it says that in the Bible? Love thy neighbor as thyself. That's a simple commandment that Yahweh brought out.
But it also say that in Kemet. Don't forget you got the Ma'at. You got Ma'at. We got truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity, balance, harmony, and order. The 7 principles of Ma'at. So we got that. When I say we, I'm not saying because that's not. But I'm just saying that's just something that I follow in our study. So when I say that, that's what I'm saying, brother. So there's that. There's righteousness in Kemet.
Yeah, it's righteousness in Kemet, but it's all about active witnesses. Okay, like just like you said earlier about I can keep things and put common sense and put 2 and 2 together without a book. Well, we as black men, we can walk outside and we can do that already because we all, everywhere we go, when we go outside, we're going to see somebody that don't look like us going in our neighborhood, in the stores. And then when you go in their neighborhoods, you're not going to see us behind their counters or running anything, but they will be in our neighborhood running everything. All of the Hindus and everybody selling the wigs is as much as, my sisters is sending these people kids to college, fully paid, just off a hair salon. You see what I'm saying? They kids. When I say kids, that means multiple families are sending their kids to college and fully paid, all just with hair salon alone. You see what I'm saying? So I will open up a Quran, I will open up an Egypt Book of the Dead, and I will open up a Bible. And only one book out of all them 3 will attest to what we see walking out that door without even thinking about a book, and it's that Bible. Because the Bible only speaks of the people that goes through these particular type of things. We go outside right now. Every corner store is owned by somebody else. And if they do got a sister back there, you already know what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? So, last hired, first fired, last hired. And the coincidence, the click on the light is the fact that it only happens with one race of people. So you got people out here just like you. They don't even get into the Bible, but they can sure notice that only we as a race of people is going through these particular things. But I'm not going to find that in the Book of the Dead. I'm not going to find that in the Quran. I'm not going to find that in the...
How you know? Have you ever studied the book of Coming Forth by Day and by Night?
Coming Forth by Day and not by Night.
Yeah, that's the proper word for the Book of the Dead. That's what the slave master called it. The Greeks. They called it the Book of the Dead because when they opened up the tomb, they found the book laying on his chest. So ever since from there, they begin to call it the Egyptian Book of the Dead. It's the book coming forth by day and by night. That's what it is.
Okay, so the thing is, when I studied, and I've looked at it, about the 42 confessions and all that
You
type
don't
of stuff.
really, I don't want to turn the pause thing into this. Right. But I'm gonna just say, brother, you really don't know the Bible. You think you do. Because if you did, you would run far away from it without even looking back. Anyway, let me go back to Napah. Napah, go ahead. I don't want to take over your show.
No, it's not that you're taking it over, but I do want to mention to some of the audience. So I did see the audience members say that they're live on the island and they're doing something on the afterlife. But you notice they did not address one single solitary piece of evidence that I presented. This is what they always do at Pseudoigans Island. I love you. They go into like the fear of the afterlife and the fear of death. You're not doing anything about all those scientists that you always talking about. We need scientists. We need science. We showed the University of Virginia. We showed several psychologists and psychiatrists doing the research. They don't address that. They're very smart. They know what's going on over there. They grab the coconut and the bamboo beakers and they start trying to work stuff up in the lab. But it doesn't work because when I present something, I come and speak their language. And then they act like they don't understand. They start going back to, oh, you're afraid of death and you're afraid of. Talk to us about the scientists. That's what this presentation was about, y'all. This presentation was about scientists and science doing the research. Go ahead and I would love to hear my brothers and sisters over there on Pseudoigans Island. I'd like to see you talk about Max Planck saying that matter comes out of consciousness, basically. I'd like to see you discuss Michio Kaku, a quantum theorist, Nobel Prize winner. I'd like to see you discuss why he says there are alternate universes. Talk to us about the science. They won't. They're just going to start going back to, oh, they're so scared. They want to say life is coming after death. Oh, no. Yes. We see scientists doing the research. If you saw my PowerPoint, I showed scientists. Will you please address the scientist and the research and the Department of Perceptual Studies and Michio Kaku and Max Planck and Jim Tucker? I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Talk to us about that. We won't get that.
So you want to get you wanted to get a scientific aspect of the afterlife, or?
No, there's real science, empirical evidence is being presented. There's research being done. There's several cases being researched and examined. And basically, I showed it today because I let them, I do want to say a lot of times I go to their channel, 98% of what they have on there, I agree with it because it's very, like they say, on the surface. It's irrefutable information because they go to, they use Chat GPT, they go to different websites and they use actual scientific information. So most of the time I just go, oh, they're doing great. But when they start trying to talk about things like consciousness, no, that's when they die. The sister's already going to body the professor about astrotheology. I'm going to let her have it because he really doesn't want. Cedric does not want the smoke with me. He doesn't. He never has. He's still trying to recover from when he got on here and tried to pretend he knew what spontaneous combustion was. And I lit his whole piñata on fire like Burning Man. It's all love, though. I love you guys over there. But what you can't do is refute the information that science is being done on the paranormal, the phenomenal, afterlife, astral projection, consciousness, other worlds, other existences, time travel. Shout out to Julian Barber for his information on time travel. Time isn't even real.
But
Not the time that we know.
science go against religion. And so, like, everything, like where we at today with science, even the belief system, is through our ancestors and what was said. You know, I'm not gonna bash no religion or none of that, but what was you said and in your presentation, it was nice and it was well put together.
Thank you.
You know, because remember, me and Rob was talking about the photons.
You and
And
Rob,
I wanted to put
Rob?
that out because I've been studying up on the photons and the wave and when it comes into the particle. But then if you really understand it, it goes with time and plus in other dimensions, all in one.
Right.
So it'd be at the beginning and the end, like all at once, you know? So it's pseudo to people that just can't put their hands on, and then they want to speak on, oh, this is science. But what's not science is what you saying. Like, where do we start to learn, to grow, to understand what life and death is about? We got to start from somewhere. And right now, we don't know what's going to go on at the afterlife, but we do know energy does not die.
Right. And that is it's the second law of thermodynamics. That's science.
Yes, but then at the same time, if dig a little deeper, how do energy burn? How can I burn in hell? Because I'm already burning. And if you go through the 4 elements, which is 5, you know, land, water, air, fire, and ether, that means if you break it down, that's baptism. So I come on more of a aspects of esoteric breakdown of everything, because then you don't put yourself up under one cabinet, you know, because it's knowledge and wisdom and understanding in everything. But we are so divided, we can't come together and just agree on one thing. And I'm a part of my plan.
And I want to say thank you for all of your input, everybody that came in. I mean, the brothers and sa.neter. I do want to point this out, though, sa.neter. You saw me tell Cedric to get up here. Juju and Cedric were right in this chat. They are so scared. They said, we are going to the island. You're muted. They went over to the island. They got on their raft.
I see Cedric in here. I seen Juju.
Well, come on. Cedric is on the panel with Juju right now, talking about life after death. They put their little raft together, the bamboo, you know, the bamboo poles, tied it up with some palm fronds and got the paddle and paddle all the way back to the island to sit over there and talk about stuff that I didn't talk about my beliefs and the studies, the actual studies yet. I didn't talk about the afterlife studies yet. I first wanted to come out with the big guns and show them scientists, all types of psychiatrists, psychologists, neurosurgeons, quantum theorists, quantum physicists.
Let me ask you a question, Napah.
They're all backing all of the pseudos.
What?
And it's still all love. I don't want anybody to take anything personal.
Hey, Si, can I ask her a question after you, bro?
Well, yeah. Hey, Napah, give me a what is the definition of pseudo? Can you look that up?
Pseudo means fake, not real.
Can you look it up? All right. We can put it on the record.
Yeah,
Hey,
but when you, because of the language, when they use the word pseudo, it's a compliment. Like, you know what I mean? When it's coming from people who don't stray from a book, I can get my daughter's 8th grade science book, and that's all the pseudo killers. They that's all they go by. They don't
And
really
Nepal,
do.
you got people in here that's your chess fan. They want to see you beat me up in chess.
No, we're never doing that again, Brother Haram. sa.neter is the king of chess. But I want to say this. When I say my daughter's 8th grade textbook, that's not a diss. What I'm trying to say is, because they said they're not scientists, they stay in the book with things that are no one can refute. You know, they go in there. But when they start, listen, hear me out. The way they die on Pseudoigans Island, when they make the raft and they try to get off the island and it sinks, that is when they start trying to do philosophy and talk about the metaphysical. They say a pseudo always dies at a pseudo source. Pseudo-Killigans castaways always die when they try to come philosophically or metaphysically or try to touch on anything. They said they had something in the back pocket. It's all love, Juju. You know it is all love. I like to say this, my love. And for Cedric, for the professor, I got some other stuff in the silo. Cedric just was lying his booty off. Excuse me. He was lying his bum off when he was talking about Carl Jung. Carl Jung believed in ghosts. He saw ghosts. He believed in spooky. They asked him, so now do you believe that God exists? You know what Carl Jung said? He said, I don't believe God exists. I know God exists. But the professor was over there on the island teaching, twisting, and remixing all these things, trying to imply that Carl Jung didn't believe in these things.
But hey, Nepal, that goes back to the photons.
The reason I asked you, Nepal, to show the breakdown of pseudo and what it is, because I wanted to let you know that everybody on the planet is pseudo. Everyone. Everyone to a point can be pseudo. To not be pseudo means whatever you say and whatever you present is 100 right and exact. And we know that we are not right and exact. Even real scientists, even real doctors and scholars, because they will say, oh, pull that book from the shelf. We got to revise it. We got to do it over. We found out that this is not right. So even the scientists, the doctors and professors can be pseudo. So the word pseudo like that, they acting like they're not pseudo. Every goddamn body is pseudo to a point. Understand what I'm saying? To a point.
Right. I agree.
Know it all. None of us know everything.
They're right, sa.neter. It's always
that's why I was trying to tell you to break it down. I wanted you to show it to the people. But go ahead.
One thing I want to know is going back to the topic of your presentation is
Q said, nah, they don't mean pseudo like that. Come on, Q, get in here.
Hey, back to your presentation, and this is evidence of myself, and then it go back to it could be pseudo or not. Okay, when we speak about photons and wave, and then when it's observed as particle. So what's observed in the universe? And then it goes back into the realm of its multi-universe. So it's something have to be observing the universe for the photons to be in particles. So you mean to tell me there's something outside of the universe?
Are you asking me that?
Yes. Yes.
There are many universes outside of our universe.
No. I was speaking on what sa.neter said, and then on top of that, that was one of the question I wanted to ask you, as far as the photon, and that the photon is in a wave and it's broken down into, when it's observed, it comes down to particles. So within the photon being from this, the beginning and the end in different realms of existence. So therefore it have to be someone observing the photon within time and space.
Okay, this is what I want to tell you. I'm gonna let you go, brother. That's why I was asking you, Nepal. You know who I'm gonna ask? Watch this. Alexa, what is the meaning of pseudo?
The word pseudo is typically defined as, not actually, but having the appearance of, pretended, false or spurious, sham. Pseudo is a prefix meaning false or pretended.
Okay, so like I said, everyone can have pseudo in there. You know, everyone can have some pseudo. So go ahead, brother. Who wanted to speak? The Israelite brother.
Yeah, right. It was funny because this is why the scripture says in the beginning. Because this is
Cube. I just want to say something. I'm like the presentation I did is just like everybody else. It's not even offensive. Everybody does this stuff, and then JJ's over there like she's ruining the platform. Like that's why I don't like him over here. Like, what is his issue?
Don't even come on now.
No, I'm just letting you know he's over there saying I make you beef with him.
What?
JJ,
but you don't
stick to the information, brother. Stick to the information, JJ.
That up. Come on, you say it, but you don't.
No, I'm going to say it. Stick to the. I've been wanting to say it. Stick to the information. Don't get personal. Just stick to the information. Peace Cube. Just stop getting in your feelings.
So everybody get out. Metaphysics is in the Bible and all the books, but metaphysics is not in religion.
All right, go ahead, brother. Israelite brother was speaking.
Right. The aspect that I was given was that I kind of got off track. I'll say this: like scientists and who we get our science information from is a big deal because a lot of it is basically just guessing. Because if y'all heard of the Meridian Kingdom, that's beneath the ocean, is so beneath the ocean that they have not in no way, shape, form, or fashion were able to reach down there because the pressure gets so tight, they will actually die. So they can't go down there, but they're not even like a quarter. They have not even hit the deepest of the ocean a quarterly. Okay. So the scientists bring forth, it's a lot of aspect of guessing because you're talking about a people who are not human that's just going to come and then tell us what's going on in the universe out there that they had nothing to do with. Like, how do you do that? You see what I'm saying? Well, what we can see just by sitting in our hood is you don't see no bare hands holding that sun. You don't see no bare hands holding that moon. You don't see no bare hands holding this earth, but it does it intelligently. In order for this to happen, thousands of years going by and it's still programming the way it's programming, this had to be intelligently put together. Okay. So how does some people gonna tell us what's going on millions of miles out in the universe and you never went past the dorm? That Van Halen bait will kill you of that radiation. You never even passed the dorm. So how are you gonna tell me what went on out there? Hundreds in other universes. So the scientist is an aspect of a lot of people, of our oppressors who don't look like us, guessing.
Can I say something? And this is what's up, brother Sai? What the brother just spoke was truth, and I'm glad you spoke on that. Because Napah is we still gonna set that debate up because that right there is what we believe in. Everything that brother just said, and a lot of that stuff that y'all be claiming in the Bibles or you believe God wrote, it tells you that his handiwork is clearly outside. So when I told you on that podcast that day that we judge things based off what we can see from outside, his handiwork, and then we go compare it with the Bible, a lot of things don't match up. You know, it's just weird. He ain't talking out of bushes no more. He ain't speaking from the heavens telling people to go kill nobody. You know, all this old pseudo word stuff that's going on in scriptures. And like I tell people, the Most High don't change. How do I know he don't change? Well, since a child, the sun has always rose in the daytime. We always had night, stars in the sky. Birds always flew, fish always swam. Humans walked on earth. Everything that we can see. When you die, those actions going to continue. This is what makes him eternal. You feel what I'm saying? So, like I say, I came on her just to see if Napah still wanted this smoke, you know, because I still want that debate. Because you clearly don't know what we Ebionites truly believe in, where you attacked me last time. So
I didn't attack you. What is wrong with you men? We were talking about information. Nobody attacked you, brother.
Now, the last time we talked, we go back to when I was online with you. There was a lot of babbling going on. So, and you said you was willing to debate, you know, and I still want to know what happened to that video that was taken down that me and Yirmiyah did on side videos. It's a lot of videos side did, but it's mighty weird how that video, me and Yirmiyah video, was taken down. That's a mystery.
It's on Patreon, brother. There's no mystery to it. It's on Patreon.
Thank you.
Subscribe, brother, and you'll find it.
It's on Patreon.
So I tell you every day. sa.neter's Patreon. He tell you every day to subscribe if you want the old videos. You know how you say Jay-Z, you want the old Jay-Z? Well, go cop the old Jay-Z.
So
go get the old videos. Yeah, brother.
I never
So
knew
what is your belief of when you die, what happened?
What is my belief? What died? What happened?
Oh, you can skip the whole line, bro.
I never died.
Just...
I would.
Right.
So
sa.neter, we're going in order. What do you think, sa.neter? You're muted.
Go ahead.
Peace to L, and I don't know this brother, Meta Williams' brother. You want to debate something about you being a you said the Bible. Basically, you are a person who chooses what you want to choose from the Bible. And
no.
Fine. No, I said that's fine, but you can't do that and then come and tell people they're gonna be destroyed and it's evil to eat.
I never said that one time. You can't find me saying that one time.
I didn't say he destroyed nothing. He spoke, and then he spoke
I'm not talking to you, Meta Williams.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I wasn't talking to you, brother.
Listen,
I'm talking to him.
That's the problem I got, Napah. You say a lot of things that you say I said, but you cannot pull no video or tape of me ever saying that. You got offended because of our doctrine, and you said that
I didn't get offended.
Yes, I never got offended. I guarantee you cannot go find nowhere where I said you was going to get destroyed.
You already said that. I hate when people keep repeating what they say. Let me say this. Let me ask you a quick question. Is it wrong to eat meat according to the Bible?
It most definitely is. It's wrong to eat meat according to the Most High, according to nature.
Okay, hold on. Hold that thought. Y'all just heard him say he believes in God, and he said it's wrong to eat meat according to God. I just said you go around telling people that it's God.
No, I said you were going to get destroyed. I said,
okay, wait, hold on. Does God destroy people?
You said what? No, people destroy themselves.
Okay, so wait. So God doesn't have any hand in destroying.
People destroy themselves. Like if you go, let me give you an example. You pick up some meat and go eat it, you get sick, don't you?
Does God have any power according to you?
Most definitely God got a lot of power, but he gives you the free will to destroy yourself.
Does God have power?
Most definitely God got power.
Does God do things to people?
No, God don't do nothing to people. You do yourself to yourself.
So God doesn't make things happen?
Like what? You got to be specific.
So what are you what are you, a deist? I don't get it. You don't think God interacts with you?
What you mean? God interacts with everybody.
Okay, so God interacts with people. Does God only interact with good things, or does God interact with bad things?
Say that again. I think the phone started loading. Now let's get on my side. Now, what was you saying?
Does the Bible say that God does things to people, passing judgment?
That's what the Bible says. I told you.
Do you, as a Nazarite, you're a Nazarite, right? Or you're Ebionite. You're Ebionite. Do you have any type of judgment in your doctrine that comes from God?
Most definitely.
Okay, stop right there. So God does pass judgment according to your beliefs. When God passes judgment, is the judgment only good, or do bad things happen to people when God passes the judgment? Okay, so here we go.
People are rewarded according to their sins. So
I'm going to ask you again.
Let me give you.
No, you're not doing that, because you will go forever. Because I remember I'm asking you specific questions. You're an Ebionite. You said God passes judgment. Just stop me if you didn't say it. You said God passes judgment. I know you're not going to want to do this, but I'm going to assume that you mean God passes judgment that against people who do bad, and God passes judgment against people who do good. That's judgment, right?
He passes righteous judgment.
So it could be Judgment for someone who did something bad, or judgment for somebody who did something good, correct?
Depends on what you're talking about. I've never seen God kill nobody.
I'm going to ask you again. God passes judgment for people who do things bad, and God passes judgment on people who do things good, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, you're a hostile witness, Your Honor, take note. But so you just let us know that God passes judgment on people who do things bad. So God does things to people to reward them for their bad behavior. It's not going to be puppies and flowers. It's going to be something bad happening to them. Hence, you said it's wrong against the Most High God to eat meat. So if I eat meat, the Most High God would pass judgment on me and make me die from eating meat.
You destroyed yourself from eating meat.
Got it. Okay, I'm done. You guys can have the mic.
Yeah, let me just peace. I think you did a pretty good presentation, Napah. I didn't find any fault with that. I think it was pretty cool.
Thank you, Q.
Yeah, it took me a minute to try to figure out what you was talking about, but I came in just a little bit late, like 10 minutes late. That's why I was like, what's she talking about? But question to the brother real quick. Do people have the ability to unalive themselves?
Most definitely. That's called commit violence on yourself.
Okay, good. Do people also have the ability to summon thunder to strike themselves?
Say it again.
Do people also have the ability to summon thunder to strike themselves?
Summon thunder.
Lightning, excuse me.
Summon thunder to strike themselves?
Right, summon lightning to strike themselves. Can people summon that?
Nah, I've never, not that I know of.
So there's a problem with your logic, because you're saying that people bring this on themselves and they do it to themselves. To quote you exactly, they do it to themselves. So when your Most High God in the Bible that you love and respect brought the flood, did the people bring that on themselves, or was this something? Hey, brother, you have to, brother. See, now you're cut, bro, because you know where I'm going. You know where I'm going. No, I know, brother. I know, brother.
Wait a minute.
Brother,
I've never
why
said
can I get the question
God of the Bible. I've never said that's my God of the Bible. They'll tell you I don't believe that that's my God of the Bible can only be found in Genesis chapter 1, nature. I don't believe in all that other word stuff that be going on in that scripture that I can't prove. Like I said, no talking bushes. I can't prove no full-fledged on flood was there. Like the brother sa.neter said, a lot of stuff is pseudepigraphy. So I only go by mainly stuff what I really can't prove, what I can't see. I don't argue stuff that I can't prove. I can't prove the existence of Moses. I can't prove the existence of Jesus. But what I can prove, what I leave more to is what's the message, and what can I get up out of that message? You know, some people say Moshe may be Akhenaten, and I've studied that type of stuff. I don't really get into the things I can't prove. You know what I'm saying? So don't sit up and tell me my God of the Bible. It's different gods of the Bible. Babylonian gods, Samaritan gods, Assyrian gods. That's why Israel kept going into captivity, because they kept worshiping all these different guys. We believe that these
we're not talking about the Israelites anymore. We're talking about you and the so-called God in Genesis, the first chapter. So now you said you don't believe in things that you cannot prove. So we're going to go ahead and afford you 30 to 45 seconds to prove that God in the Bible. Go ahead.
Most definitely. So just like the brother said, how everything was created intelligently, and so we can see that this world is governed by a providence. So we believe that this is God's providence, you know, and we believe in universal law, and it's simple: doing to others as you want done it to yourself. You don't want nobody to steal from you, so you shouldn't steal. You want nobody to kill from you, you shouldn't kill. You want nobody defiling your bed, so you should commit fornication. So it's just simple like that. We don't believe in 316 laws. We don't believe that God rests, none of that Sabbath stuff. What we can clearly see outside is that the Most High works has always continued. You know what I'm saying? And so this is what.
Thank you for that, brother. We appreciate that. Now, see, sa.neter, you asked a question earlier about what pseudo is. That's the pseudo that these brothers are talking about. This is exactly the pseudo that they're talking about, because this brother just said we don't believe in the laws, we don't believe, but we also don't believe in stealing. Nothing in Genesis had anything to do with stealing, so he's making it up as he go. He cannot prove anything he's talking about. I afforded him, brother. Listen, I afforded you 30 seconds unmolested to speak, and what you chose to speak about was nothing that I asked you. So you cannot prove. You cannot prove that thing that you call that you believe in the Genesis, the first chapter. So now it's time to be quiet. So now we got to talk about this intelligence that you talk about that was designed. There's nothing that we see intelligently designed. Nothing whatsoever. Brother, you
can see outside.
Brother, the reason you're interrupting right now is because I'm touching the nerve. I'm touching the nerve. This is why you're interrupting.
You ain't touching
so why are
nerve.
you interrupting?
You want to feel
why
like
you
you're touching the nerve.
Brother, why are you interrupting? Why is it
you feel offended.
Okay.
You're the one whose nerve is offended. I'm just telling you, I'm just simply listen, let me tell you something, brother. When that man flat out said that can nobody see the Most High but through a pure heart, you know what that means? You can only see him through the mind. You can only see him through righteous commandments. You feel what I'm saying? Has nothing to do with some sky daddy sitting on the throne. You feel what I'm saying? So you can only see him through a pure mind and a pure heart. So we afford all righteousness towards the Most High. And what we can see plainly outside is righteousness. We can see nature at one point was righteous. We can see the sun.
But whoa. That's not the only point. When they said when they seen God's face, isn't what they call the pineal.
See, I don't get off into all the pineal and all that chakra stuff, man. I don't get off into all that. Like I said, I simply get off into what my two eyes can plainly see and what's outside. I can argue what's outside, and that's what's been going on, and it's going to continue after we die.
So where's this God that you can see in Genesis 1? Why haven't you showed us?
He's all around. He's all around. He got eyes on every side.
Well, show it to us, brother. Produce it.
Go look outside.
Produce it.
It's outside. Go look. And it's within.
Okay, we playing games. These are the pseudos that these brothers are talking about. So when you read the actual definition of pseudo, that's not what they mean. And see, I won't even hang that on them, even though we go back. Myself and them, the pseudo killers, we go back and forth from time to time.
But you like to debate. You like to set up a debate, not prove to you God is. I guarantee you I can. Let's just set up a debate.
Okay.
Let me get my paperwork ready, and I guarantee you I'm going to put you down.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but see, even though I go back and forth with those brothers from time to time, the truth of the matter is the reason. Right. Cool story.
He's saying that God is all around you. He's talking about nature. He's talking about water. He's talking about the sun, the trees, the air, the elements. That's what he's talking about when he talk about God is all around you.
Yeah, but Genesis 1:1 doesn't say that.
Man, stop playing. Yes, it does. Go read it.
But also, he like what Napah said. You play on both sides of the fence. You want to be metaphysic, esoteric, and plus be religion. You got one foot in and one on the banana peel.
Of the fence.
One foot in, one on the banana peel. Which side you gonna be on, pimp?
Like I say, man, if y'all want to set up a debate, I debate all y'all by myself. I'm telling you, this is too easy.
So Genesis 1:1 says the Genesis 1
nothing to debate about.
Genesis
1 I will agree about with you is nature.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I agree with you about. Anything else, I crash you.
Genesis 1:1 says, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth." Are you ready to show us the heaven?
Come on with it, man. We're gonna set up this debate or not,
brother. You can just. This is something simple.
Mm-hmm. I just gave you my answer on everything. You know what I'm saying? You feel like you know everything.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I just saying, let's just set up this debate.
Cool story, brother. That was cool.
Yeah. Hey, but sa.neter, you said you got a Patreon. I didn't know you had a Patreon though, bro. I really didn't. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. Your mic mute. Your mic muted, Si.
If you like, we could set up a date where you could come on and break down your science.
Okay.
And let Cube scrutinize it once you put it up. Cube will check it out. And if you want to debate it, hit me up and let me know.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm most definitely ready to do that back rocking and rolling.
Hey, yo, put your number in the back chat so I can contact you.
You know, this brother was on before, right? sa.neter, this is the brother.
It was him and his man.
Yeah, Yirmiyahu came on with them. Shout out to Yirmiyahu.
Yeah.
You said the back chat?
Yeah, where it says people. See where it says 6 people? On the side, on the right?
Yeah.
Click
Let me
that.
see if you get it. 314-359-0215.
Yeah, I got you.
You got
That's it.
No.
Cool.
I got it, brother. I got it. We'll set something.
So if your God is just nature, let me say this before I go to L. If your God is just nature, then I don't think we have anything to discuss because what you're doing is just semantics.
Yeah, I heard
So
what
I
you
don't
said.
think we have anything to
We'll
discuss.
get to it on the debate. You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna give you no more leeway. What you think listen,
What?
bro. I've been doing this for a long
So you
time.
don't
Let's
even
just
want
do
to converse about the debate? You just want to
We'll
jump into the ring?
We'll converse on the debate since you know everything. You know, it's no reason to ask no questions if you think you the teacher already. You feel what I'm saying? You got the answers. So, you know, we're gonna figure this out. You know, I very much know what I'm doing, know what I'm saying. You know, so it's all good. And side note, I'm
All
bound to
right.
what I
Yeah, let me get the brother L. L, what's up, man? Peace, brother.
Hey, peace, Elder. I'm gonna start referring to you like that. Thank you
I'm
for everything you've done for us, man. Oh, yeah. My bad. I didn't want to cut the brother up.
First of all, thank you for all the kind things you said earlier, brother.
Hey,
Appreciate that.
real
Thank you.
quick, we got to start normalizing that. I don't think that anybody ever did for my generation what you did. My posture coming on here is always as a student. I'm not necessarily pushing a specific doctrine. I like to come on here as somebody because everybody said, well, this is the way to go. Like, to look at it objectively, you're right. Everybody's pseudo because nobody has confirmed any of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Everybody got their book or they reasoning or they logic to why whatever they saying is the supreme whatever. But to be perfectly honest with you, nobody has truly proven. You could have a argument to justify anything I had, you know. But in truth, I don't know, the brother that just got off. I'll be honest, like he's like most black people in America. I'm gonna believe a little bit, but you know, the other stuff I'm not with. It's like this whole thing. And in college, I noticed it is in religion and academics, it is a conspiracy, and it is, you know, some sort of, you know, the people that know this understand that black people are going to keep staying in this time loop. Like, so, you know, for me, I think what the sister's presentation was beautiful. My bad for cutting you off. Oh, you said something? Okay. Yeah, I think what the sister Napah's presentation was beautiful because, you know, when we're talking about scholarship, you could take that and leave it to your own interpretation, but to just generally say, "Oh man, I know the evidence of this because the trees grow," like it's like what are we doing? Like I mean, I'm not saying that nature cannot be a catalyst for you to understand things on a deeper level, but black people, we gotta stop that, man. I knew because the sun came up to like it's like what are we doing, man? It's like, bro, we got to start operating in reality on a higher level. And I think that that's when we had the most success as a people, is when we start dealing in reality. You know, even the definition, like how you guys use the word pseudo, people using it like how they would use tether or something, but without any real knowledge of what that truly means. Because like you said, if using that logic, everybody is pseudo. Because all of this stuff is given by somebody, and you don't know the purpose of the function that it was supposed to be used for. I think that, you know, for my personal belief is that whatever is the entity that runs this ain't been there for our people. I'm gonna just keep it real. They pray to all gods, and ain't nobody help. And look, I'm not acting like I'm the smartest person. I'm just speaking from the heart. I just think that with young people, man, and that even goes back to what you did, sa.neter, is allowing these different sciences to occupy what people could consider and weigh on the scale what works in them in their lives. You know, I just think that right now it's too much overlap, you know, and nobody's gonna get to, you know, where they're supposed to be at. That's just my opinion on it.
Can I say something?
I'm listening.
This your show, Napah.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. I just want to bring up some stuff here. We got Cedric over there just shooting all his bullets out into nowhere. He ain't hitting no targets. He's over there just shooting like he's like going into his same spiel about near-death experiences are because of hypoxia, and he is not addressing that. First, I started out with baby steps. This is a slow roast, Cedric. You first tried to say there was no scientists. There are no mainstream, so-called respectable, conventional scientists doing the work on these particular topics. I brought up in my presentation that there in fact are. I wasn't showing you. Cedric, are you serious? I could show you so much. Get this debate with me on consciousness. I can show you so much about consciousness existing outside of, or not only in the brain. You can sit over there and keep on saying that boring, rewinding that boring stuff about, oh, it's all anecdotal. There's empirical evidence being presented about reincarnation while you sit over there on Pseudoigans Island, acting like you're doing something, and Juju up there giving you the woof, 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 Arsenio Hall, whatever. You're not doing anything over there talking about how there's no real NDEs. You said it yourself. You're not a scientist, Cedric. You're just the professor of Pseudoigans Island. Real scientists like Jim Tucker, Dr. Greyson, real scientists at the University of Virginia are doing the research on it. We don't need to worry about what you and the Pseudoigans Island people are saying. When y'all talk about things like, Africa and, talking about different things, I don't know what type of telescope to buy, you're doing great. But when you start trying to get off that island on your busted up boat on the SS Minnow, when you try to get off that island and start talking about things that are metaphysical and then try to talk about philosophical things, you start to drown, you start to sink. You're over there sinking right now. Why didn't Cedric hit the panel over here? Anybody?
I think they were a little scared, if I'm being honest, because they could have came over here and just dealt with everything you said and got you all the way out the way.
Thank you. He hits the panels with everybody else, right? He's scared. I love Cedric. He's so scary. He ran over there and they said, oh, we got this. They're literally over there just saying, where's the empirical evidence? And go to the University of Virginia and check out all their research. You can do that because they're doing it over there at the school. Now, if you want to ask me, where's the evidence? I need to see the facts. The research is being done just like with quantum physics, just like with the Higgs boson, which I'm going to say it again. Can I show something? I got to show y'all. Cedric is intelligent, but he's very, very, how do you say it? Like, he's slick. He's slick. He has that voice that you just think he's telling the truth, right? Like, oh, let me show you something about science. And then you think, oh, this dude he must be, he says a couple of, ninth grade words. And then you think, oh, Cedric must know what he's talking about. I want to show you when I mentioned the Higgs boson particle, he tried to come in and say, first of all, it's not a particle. It's actually a field. He was wrong. And I really sat there because I had already busted him all up. And I didn't want to keep on going because everybody says, oh, Napah's doing this and that, being mean. But he was wrong. I want to show you how he fakes the funk. He pretends to know it. And then everybody thinks he knows it. But he doesn't know it. Let me get this. Let me just go ahead and I'll let you guys talk.
Let me say this while you pulling that up. I don't know, man. So you may have to release the bounds, man, and just let her go, man, because you might just have to let her go in, and because people is running from her, bro. Like, I'm just gonna keep it a bean. Like, people is kind of running from her. I'm just gonna be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, Q.
Napah got the green light. She got the green light to go in. She got the green light to go in on Sedge.
On everybody. No, everybody. I'm talking about just release.
Nah, I don't want everybody because
once you was breaking down the particles and then you went down to magnetic.
I'm talk about the afterlife. What the fuck is the afterlife? What the fuck?
Certain people, because some of the males, They are some nasty mothers. You know, they can get real guttery, nasty. You
That's
know,
why you gotta let it go.
when
So
they
she
get hurt, their feelings get hurt by a woman. That's what I'm talking about.
No, but I'm not gonna lie, sa.neter. Like, I've been really trying to control myself because I have in the past hurt a lot of feelings and I didn't know it. Not just men, women too. But lately I have. Cube is right, and people run from Cube. Shout out to Elder Yara. What is that noise?
Oh, that's me. I was editing while you was talking. My bad.
Oh, but as of lately though, I don't really I don't even do anything besides try to get the information, and they do run. So I want to show you something real quick. I want to show you guys how on that panel, sa.neter, I need you to look also, please. Cedric set up on the.
Hear that, so we can still hear that.
Yeah, we can hear that.
Oh man.
Cedric sat on the panel with us once when we had the Sister Doc 2 Suite on. And he was like acting like he knew what he was talking about. He told us that they figured out superposition with Schrodinger's cat. He didn't say superposition, but he was like, "Oh, we have found out everything. It's not spooky. We know what gravitons are." No, you don't. You're fabricating these things. I don't want to call you a liar, Professor, but look at this. Okay, listen to this. What he says. He says that the Higgs boson is not a particle, but it is. He doesn't know, or he didn't know, how to distinguish between the Higgs field and the Higgs boson particle, which is...
I'm sorry. Sa, can you take that down so we can see the bottom portion of a video?
Oh, yeah.
We can't read everything.
Right. I'll read it for you too. Thanks for it. Says the professor of Pseudoigans Island often says misleading things about science because he thinks no one in the community is familiar with the information, especially not his fellow castaways.
Out of the Higgs boson field, because the Higgs boson is a field. It is not actually a particle.
You heard him say, I had mentioned earlier before he responded, I said the Higgs boson is a particle. Who doesn't know that claims to know science, Cedric? You don't. You don't know it. You did this with the spontaneous combustion. I was shocked. But now I know you. You didn't know that the Higgs field is something that is accompanying, for lack of better words, the Higgs boson particle. So let's listen. He says,
when it's in particles.
Yes, he says the Higgs boson. I said it was a particle earlier, and he tried to correct me. And he's correcting me, but he said the Higgs boson is not a particle, it's a field. He's wrong. Keep listening.
So they're looking for the particles that would come out of that gravitational field, or that.
And that's wrong too, but I didn't even get to, he says so many wrong things. Nobody is looking for the Higgs boson coming out of the gravitational field, Cedric. Gravitons are being researched for that gravitational force. You're wrong. You're wrong, and I'm going to keep getting you. Gravitons go with gravitational force. Strong force goes with the Higgs boson, pretty much. You're wrong, Cedric, but let's keep listening, y'all. I mean, there's so much that he says wrong, and I just can't get it all.
Hey,
I had a question.
Before you play it, can I say one thing?
Yeah.
As far as the photon particle, and when it breaks down, the photon, when it breaks down into particle, that's when you get the Higgs field on different particles, and it's studied. You know, okay. It's not the actual field around the photon.
You're talking about the proton.
Yeah, it's not the actual field. He's saying it's a field, but I don't know if he's saying if it's a field over, because he just. Keep going.
No, the Higgs field okay, the Higgs field is a field, but I said the Higgs boson particle, and then he conflated. See, remember, he pretends to be a scientist so much, right? He says he's not. Remember, you can't give him a pass. I have to remind people with the spontaneous combustion. Science is very precise. He says, oh, I'm so scientific. Watch me do the robot. No, you're not scientific because you just conflated because you don't know. You said the Higgs boson is not a particle. That's a big error. If you were taking a test, you'd fail. The Higgs boson is in fact a particle. It's a particle that is, it's a scalar boson. It is in fact a particle, and you didn't know that. You conflated the Higgs field with the definition of a Higgs boson particle, which is associated with the Higgs field. You get it? So the Higgs boson field is a field. It is a sort of like a, a state or a realm. The Higgs boson is a particle. Listen to him, and then I won't interrupt. It's only going to be a minute long, but I want you to listen to him. And he says it with such confidence, and he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And the point that gets me is that he's trying to correct me. Listen.
Out of the Higgs boson field, because the Higgs boson is a field. It is not actually a particle. So they're looking for the particle that would come out of that gravitational field, or that actual field, which is the Higgs boson field, directly related to what comes out of the Higgs boson field. Because the Higgs boson is a field. It is not actually a particle. It comes out of the Higgs boson field. Because the Higgs boson is a field. It is not actually a particle.
Okay, it says the Higgs boson is not a field. It is a particle which is associated with the Higgs field. The Higgs boson particle confirmed that there is, in fact, a Higgs field. Cedric, you can't get me with this. Don't play. You keep on sitting over there and talking about NDEs aren't real, and so it's part of the prefrontal cortex, and you're having a hypoxia. You're not getting enough oxygen. Keep playing over there, but I will kill you in this, because you and I both know neither one of us are quantum theorists, neither one of us are quantum physicists, but this is my lane. That's why you nominated me for the Quantum Quackery Award, okay? So the Higgs boson particle confirmed that there is, in fact, a Higgs field. The Higgs boson is an elementary particle, Cedric. It gives mass to other fundamental particles.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I had a question.
The Higgs boson is a field. It is not actually a particle.
Yes, it is. Listen.
But it's broke down.
Sometimes called the Higgs particle, is an elementary particle.
Yeah, it's an elementary particle of the particle that was around the, like if you say the photon, or any particles, that's the breakdown.
In the standard model, I want you to just hear the definition, and then I'll hand the mic over. Is an elementary. I wrote this right here. I just want you to hear in the standard Google search. The Higgs boson, sometimes called the Higgs particle, is an elementary particle in the standard model of particle physics. The Higgs boson particle is in the Higgs field. Okay, there. I'm done. I'm done. The reason I showed that, and he's gonna play like, oh, whatever. No, it's a big deal, y'all. He's acting like he knows. He kept repeating after I said the Higgs boson. He's like, oh, the Higgs boson is not a particle. It's actually a field. And this is why you don't know science. I know science. No, you don't know science. Because you wouldn't have ever said the Higgs boson is not a particle. That's like me. Listen, real quick, I'm gonna park my car. That's like me saying red and yellow don't make orange. Because if you knew, it's like so basic. How do you not know that the Higgs boson is gluons are bosons? There's not just the Higgs particle boson. Gluons are bosons. Gluons are gauge bosons. It's funny because I can read it and comprehend it better than I could say it, but gluons are gauge bosons. Cedric, how are you going to come in here and act like you're saying that the Higgs boson is not a particle? Because I caught you. You be faking the funk, Professor. Okay, go ahead. Thank you for letting me say that. I'm mute out now, y'all.
No. I had a question for you, Sister Napah, because you are clearly next level with it. And
no, I'm not. Don't do that, because but this is I just like it. That's all.
No, this is the question I have, because for the average man and woman, teenage, anybody watching this that comes to sa.neter's channel, I'm always take this position whatever I say. that is saying, okay, I want to come here and I want to learn about how this stuff is going to affect my worldview. And obviously, this is a debate platform. When you're talking and you're debating scholarship and you're saying, okay, well, dude, it's like you can't say you're a mechanic if you don't know how to change. If you saying that the oil was, it's like clear things that if you don't know this, you cannot be position yourself as an authority. I guess the question I got for you is this: how does this translate to the common man and woman in their worldview? In a sense of Malcolm always said, make it plain, brother. You know what I'm saying?
You know how it does, real quick? It's all about our material selves. That's what it's about. It's our existence.
But hold on, one thing.
Hey, Napah, can I answer this question? Please.
Let the brother finish. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Let me answer that question.
I just really quickly. I love y'all. Y'all the elders. I went to University of Illinois, and I used to see in like because I had some friends that was in the engineering department. Obviously, it's the 4th biggest engineering school in the country, or at least in the top 10 now. When I went, it was number 4. And you didn't see a black face in there. Not one black face. So this is where this type of talk, this is the realm where this type of talk was in. And a lot of our people don't understand it from that level, from a true technical level, when it comes to stuff that could be affecting their lives. So I guess the question is this. All in all, when you evaluate that amongst the Christianity conversation of the world, amongst the Islamic, the Kemetic conversation, where does it land and how does it affect the Gen Z, Gen A young millennials moving forward and how they perceive life? Thank you.
Oh, wow. How does it affect you? I would say that you get to, for me, I'm going to tell you how. When I give this information out, you can always tell when someone's religious, whatever their God is. I don't sit and laugh and, oh, we're together and I'm looking down on you. You're so dumb. You guys don't know anything. That is how it affects you, number one, in a negative way, where they want you in Pseudoigans Island. They want you to be afraid to say, oh, only they. It happens not just with Pseudoigans Island. It happens with all of these people who teach things. When they see someone has an interest in something, they want to keep it to themselves and make it like, we're the elite VIP. We're sprinkling it down on you little peasants. I don't do that. When I come in, now I will, but you saw me earlier talking to that brother. Shout out to Ron Dalton. That's not what I'm talking about when I'm going mano a mano, like same level. When I get up and teach, I never want people to feel like, oh, you're so dumb. No one can ever learn this. It's like they want you to feel like that. So people who are like you and your age, and even people who just maybe want to find out about it, they go, oh, it's not for me, or it's boring, or I'll never get it. That is the way it affects people negatively. I try to come in and tell people, and I'm telling you right now, the only reason I know it is because I find it interesting. So, because I'll be looking.
So can I be able to
real quick? Everybody knows me. I'm like looking for the spiritual, spooky pseudo side of it. So I know science. I really respect science, but I know science is always moving with everything. So I'll go and find the actual mainstream science, and then I'll still try to work it just like with the Bible. So that's my answer.
I want to build with you on this, and all you guys. Like prime example, Brother Nuri Muhammad from the Nation of Islam was on with Cam Newton. They did a big interview the other day. I don't know if everybody saw it. So if you're a regular black person in America, you just watched him in 2025 tell black people, hey, you need to go read Eat to Live. Now, they don't know nothing about none of this. They living in the regular world, but now he's bringing that with a dude that's in the secular world. Now, what am I saying? I watched on this platform Brother Polite and another brother from the Nation of Islam, well, he's not, debate about is that doctrine still applicable in the year, obviously in the 2000s and stuff like that. What I'm saying is this, is it's the same thing. It's like, where does this actually help us in the long and short of things. Like if Malcolm X,
I want to answer that question, but continue.
Yeah,
I want to answer that.
I'm about to finish out. If Malcolm X was in the 50s telling black people, "Hey, brother, stop eating pork," black people, they like, "Why would I stop eating pork?" And scientifically, it might be all these scientific reasons. But he said, "Hey, man, brother, this is not good for your health." So now they can apply it to their life and say, "You know what? Okay, I might not even follow the Nation of Islam, but I'll eliminate that out my diet." I'm just saying, like, what is that equivalent in this? How does this help our people move forward out of this condition? That's my question.
Here's the answer to that. It doesn't. There's nothing about this in this current day and time, 5/6/2025, that has anything to do with regular people that are on the ground, that are just working every day trying to survive. It has nothing to do with us. Now, here's the caveat. Here's the caveat. Now, if we can use this to somehow transform it to get us to another planet, or somehow use it to help us in our bodies or something like that, or move towards transhumanism or something like that, then we'll say, okay, well, it can be used for that. But right now, this very day, a lot of us, we just use it to have fun with it. It's a sport.
Why we having fun at war?
Whoa.
See, I love what the brother just said.
Whoa, now. Because a lot of us don't use it just for sport.
Well, hold on. Let me just finish real quick. Let me just finish real quick. I only got just one stanza left. So here's the thing. When you talking about like the Bible or the Quran, I'm gonna hit y'all with something. This may blow your mind. The Bible and the Quran is more helpful for us today than any of the science that we even talk.
Cause
brother, come on.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Brother, you gotta have it. It can help us more today because, listen, learning about the Higgs boson has nothing to do with your diet. Learning about the Higgs boson has nothing to do how you should treat each other. Nothing whatsoever. Even though I disagree with the Bible, I disagree with the Quran, I'm an atheist, I disagree with religion, but I understand where we are as humans. So I understand it. So even though I knock down, beat down religion, all of that, I understand that it's necessary for some people, and that's all I gotta say. And I'm not trying to be funny or chastise anybody.
I agree.
I want to finish this last part, and I'll shut up. I promise.
And I agree
because I apologize. I'm gonna say this one last thing, because like even what the brother just said, right? And when you talk about scientific innovation and understanding, because the sister was basically saying, "Oh, the brother's he's misquoting things, or he's not saying things that are accurate," to essentially denote the fact that he may not be an authority on what he's preaching. I look at in Chicago, right here where I'm at, you got University of Chicago. When they was building that atom bomb, no matter how much they said, "I hate this nigga," they got the best black people in this country to go over there and build their weapon for them, to know the astrophysics this and the metallurgy lab. So we know that people in our community have a great awareness of science and technology. What I'm saying is this, is that and I understand this is a debate platform from the elder, but we need to be able to apply this stuff to our daily lives to be able to gain an advantage in this moment in time. You know, like the sister said, she was like, "Man, I just have an aptitude for things in this world." But it's just to say, "Oh, the what's it called? The Higgs Boson, whatever." And I understand
Higgs
that.
boson.
How's that helping the shorties in Chicago that's playing with these buttons get out of poverty and slavery?
All right, y'all. It's time to shut down. I did 3 shows today, man. I ain't get one donation, man, from nobody, man. It's all good, though. I'll see y'all tomorrow, no doubt. All right? So, yo, thanks, everybody, for coming through. Thank you, Napah. Powerful presentation.
Hey, drop your cash out, bro.
I definitely want to support you, brother.
Yeah. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Don't worry about it. I'll catch y'all tomorrow whenever we get up here.
No, I try to make sure I do support you, side.
Yeah.
And
however, I'm gonna support.
Hey, brother Sa, before you leave, I just want to say this. I know that you're not going to receive this, But you know, I don't know if we could do this, if we could figure out some sort of way, and I'll try to help to just commemorate you, bro, because when we think about all these scholars, like I said, man, and everybody say, oh, well, Dr. Ben did this and Malcolm did this. We got one in real time. We have no other. If you stop this today, we don't have this.
But so can I respond to, because I've been trying to. This is what's going on. You know.
Yeah, I gotta close it out.
No, I'm just saying though. Once we stop taking things literal, and then if you want to take something literal, just do the things that they really telling you to say that you choose not to do. That's one of them, is going with inside yourself. If you go inside yourself, you don't need no extra deities or anything. One thing that really woke me up is when old school, when I was a kid.
Hey, yo, Mega, I got the role, brother. Brother Williams. Thank you, brother. Y'all got to catch me early, man. I've been up all day, man. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, y'all, peace and black power to everybody out there. And we out of here, man.